Have your teachers' smartboard lessons become dull and boring? Are they sick of using the same old lessons? Have their students checked out during instruction time? Do they mainly use the board to project a worksheet or a website? Or maybe their board just sits idle a majority of the time. If this sounds like your classrooms, then maybe it's time to get smart. The elementary teachers working in the USD 368 district are extremely fortunate to have a valuable piece of technology in their classroom called the Smartboard. This interactive whiteboard was designed by Smart Technologies with many available functions and features that can be used to create exciting interactive lessons and activities to engage the students and motivate them to learn. What happens when this expensive piece of technology sits idle in the classroom? The money used to pay for the board goes to waste, and students miss out on fun, engaging learning opportunities. Here at USD 368, the elementary teachers have had smartboards for 5 years with only a brief training when they were first obtained, with little to no follow-up training for experienced teachers and no training for new teachers who join the district. Also, there has been no training for the Smart Ideas concept mapping software. Since the acquisition of the boards, Smart Technologies has performed many updates to the notebook software with the addition of several new items to the gallery, as well as the launching of the lesson activity toolkit. The lack of training on these things has created a perceived need for additional training. How can we inform teachers of these updates and provide them with the knowledge to utilize the Smartboard and its software to its fullest potential? The answer? A face-to-face training session highlighting the newest features of the Smart Notebook software, along with the basics of the Smart Ideas software. As the instructional designer for this project, I most closely followed the Dick and Carey model in my design. To begin the project, I needed to start with the analysis phase. Is there truly a need for this training? If so, who are my learners? What information do they need to be successful in implementing the features of the software? What will be the best way to deliver the information? For the needs analysis, I created an online survey for the elementary teachers in the district. In this survey, they were asked things such as, how often do they use the Smart Ideas software or lesson activity toolkit? Did they even know what those things were? Had they ever participated in any formal Smartboard training? Would they be interested in receiving additional training, and if so, what types of things are they interested in learning about? Of the 44 elementary teachers in the district, 39 of them completed the survey. From those 39 teachers, I discovered that more than a third of them had never received any formal training. A fourth of them had never used or never heard of the Smart Ideas software. More than half of them rarely used, never used, or had never heard of the lesson activity toolkit. And 87% of those who filled out the survey were interested in participating in training over the Smartboard and its software. We had a need for this training. The next step was the design phase, where decisions were made about details such as, what are the objectives? What is the learning sequence going to be? What would be the delivery method? And what materials needed to be created? After the design phase, I began developing the actual training and materials that would be needed. I used the Smart software to both integrate and create example lessons and activities to demonstrate the basics of Smart Ideas and the newest features of Smart Notebook. Handouts were created to serve as a visual aid during the presentation and were placed on the district's intranet to provide a job aid following the training. The actual implementation of the project was done in 2 phases. The first phase was carried out with a small group of teachers. After that session, they filled out evaluation forms to provide me with feedback on how the training went. Results were positive and suggestions were used to make improvements for subsequent trainings. The second phase incorporated those improvements, and the training was presented to the remainder of the teachers who were interested in participating. The evaluation phase included both formative and summative evaluations. Formative evaluations, such as the online survey, were used to determine the needs of the learners as well as to improve upon the training. Summative evaluations were used to determine the effectiveness of the training. The results from the evaluations were positive, and 100% of the teachers attending the training stated they had learned something new that they could implement immediately. Many teachers expressed that they would be interested in yearly trainings as one of our in-service opportunities, with exploration time provided. Overall, the training was a success, and teachers were pleased to have been given the opportunity to participate in the training.